cut into little pieces. So just take one of those pieces out. It should, Parker, pull that big piece. You might be able to pull it apart because I cut it. You might not see the seam. Pull it the other way. Other way. There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Whoa, Hannah, you're jabbing the clay. Are you taking all your frustration out on that piece of clay?
I'll get a knife and I'll cut it again.
Okay.
All the pieces.
Patty?
Yeah.
For some reason, oh, okay, you just turned, yeah, you should turn off one of those because you were getting the...
Oh, that's me.
Yeah, you're all good now. It's when there's two Zoom things going on, for some reason, the sound gets messed up. Anyways, I'm going to wait. It's 9 o'clock now. What I was going to ask for you to do is while we're waiting, maybe 2 more minutes, take a little, look at my hand here. Hannah, look here. Look here. I want you to take one little piece of clay, and what I want you to practice doing is making what I call slugs. So watch my hand. Do you guys see my other hand? No, you can't. Oh, it's frozen. Oh, I don't know where it is. Do you guys see my hand? My hand is uncooperating. Hold on. We're getting organized here.
It's right there, but it's frozen.
Oh dear. Hold on, guys. Just hang on.
That green right there.
Okay. I'm just getting the camera to behave. All right. Oh, there we are. Okay.
Are you gonna paint?
Here are my slugs or my worms, and what I want you to do is take your piece of clay, and I want you to practice rolling it out. Practice rolling it out. I'm gonna try to do it like this. So if it's fat on one end as you're rolling, start to roll the other end. Nice,
Probably take a
Hannah.
little piece, and I'll just do this, or maybe just a little piece.
Okay, what I'm going to do, because it's so loud for me, I want to start, actually, what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to show you how to make 2 different little pots with your hands, and then you'll have lots of time and lots of clay to experiment with the rest of the time that you have today. So do you see my worm, how it's getting longer and longer? That is an art, we call that a coil. I'm just making sure this is recording. I think it's recording. Okay, so a coil is used many times in art, but particularly for making pots. So I'm going to show you how we're going to take our coil and start to make it into a pot. And what we're going to make right now is we're going to make the bottom of a pot. Now let me show you a really beautiful pot made. I'll be right back. I'm just grabbing something. This is a pot, right? Another word for pot in art is vessel. This pot was made by my friend Nancy. Isn't that beautiful? Nancy. And look at the clay. It's black on the bottom, the inside, and the glaze, the paint that the ceramic paint she put on it was white. But look at this. It's crackled. And most clay gets fired. That means it gets put into an oven that has a very, very, very high temperature. In fact, the temperature is so hot that when the pots are in this oven, the pots turn red like they're on fire. And the process that she did to make that beautiful crackle is called raku. And raku is a firing method where you don't always know what you're going to get. And so you get these really beautiful effects like that. I really like Nancy's pots. And if you've ever been to the Harlow Gallery, we sell those pots down there by Nancy. They're really pretty. So, all right, so this is a pot or a vessel. And I'm gonna mute everybody, but raise your hand if you want to talk, just because it's really loud, okay? It's nothing personal. Okay, so, all right, so you've rolled out your clay, right? You have this slug worm. Now what I want you to do is I want you to take a little bit of that water, not a lot, Liam, don't go crazy with the water. Okay, and we're gonna make the bottom of the pot. So watch my hands, I'm gonna put water here. And as I do that, I'm gonna take one of those clay tools, maybe even the knife, and I just wanna like scratch a little bit and make a little bit of some texture where I put the water. Now, if this doesn't go well, I don't want you to panic, because who saw yesterday when I destroyed that painting because my painting, I wasn't happy with it. So the same thing with clay. If you don't like what you're doing, you can just destroy it. Okay, I can see from here, Parker, you need to roll your coil a little bit thinner. It's fat. You don't want it to be a snake. You want it to be more like an earthworm. Okay. Patty, I think you are so cute doing this with him. Hi, Cameron. Your grandmother's awesome, isn't she? Okay, so you made your little marks in your worm, and guess what we're gonna do? Everyone watch my worm really carefully right now. This is the magic moment, okay? Are you ready? I'm gonna take my worm. Are you watching my hands? And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna roll him up. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep him lined up. Do you see him? He's like a little snail. Lucy, I hope your clan is doing okay. Do you see my worm? Now, he's coiling up. All the way to the very end. And then guess what? I'm going to take a little bit of water and I'm going to close my coil up like this so it looks like that. Isn't that cool? Hannah, let me see yours, honey. Hold it up to the computer. Hey, good job. Okay, now if you were gonna make a little tiny pot, that would be enough, right? Do we wanna make a little tiny pot or we wanna make a big pot? I muted you, so I don't know what you're saying. Let's see, I'm gonna unmute you. Hopefully I'm gonna unmute you. Are you guys all there? Uh-oh. Do you guys wanna go bigger? No? No? Cameron wants to go bigger. Okay, so that's the thing, you have a choice. So what you can do is you can make another worm and start where that little guy ended up, okay? So make another coil. I'm gonna go a little bigger because that would be a little tiny pot. And I'm gonna roll my coil out, my worm. And remember, if your worm in the beginning gets kind of flat or uneven, just start working it on another end. Okay, here we are. I'm worming out. Is that a verb, to worm out? Worming out. Okay, so look how my hand is. I'm coming down and I'm gonna try to, the best I can, to make him, this worm, about the same thickness, if I can. Whoa, I made a very long guy. Whoa, he's going right off the camera screen. Use the table because it'll make a nice, the table is a good resource. Okay, so if you remember from last time, I rolled out my coil and then I put my water layer right on top of it, not too much water. And then I'm gonna take my little knife and I'm gonna go and score it a little bit. I'm putting some texture into it. Let me show you why. I'm gonna show you something else. So if you have two pieces of clay that are very smooth and you put them together like this, when they dry, look what happens. They peel apart. But if you have two pieces of clay that have some texture, what happens is the clay weaves itself together. So in its sense, it glues itself. It kind of weaves itself together. So you want to make sure you put some little marks there. All right, I'm going to show you in the camera. So that's what that looks like with a little bit of scoring. Now, if you're at my studio, I often give the kids toothbrushes, old toothbrushes, of course, and we scratch. So if you want to do clay later on today, you could get an old toothbrush. Don't ever use them for your teeth again. That would be just, oh, you've got one. Don't brush your teeth with that one. So ready? I'm going to roll my coil up. But remember what I'm going to do is I'm going to find my other guy. And wherever I left off, right there is where I'm going to start the other one. And because he's gotten a little dry, I'm going to put a little water there. Okay. And here goes my start of my coil. So I'm going to start right where I finished, and I'm going to get that little piece on there, weave it on, and I'm going to very gently just keep going. I can hear someone's music because I unmuted you. I don't know what I'm listening to, but it's giving me flashbacks of when my—
Sounds like a children's show.
I know. What show is it? All right, how's our worm pots going? Our bottoms are getting bigger. Okay, there's my bottom of my pot. All right, so we need the bottom of the pot. Now for today, for right now, I'm just gonna keep it like this, okay? But what you could do is you could take your knife if you wanna do one later today by yourself without all of us here, and you could smooth it out if you want, but maybe you like the way all the little coils look. It's kind of elegant. Okay, so now that we made the bottom of our pot, we're gonna work with making the walls, the sides of the pot, okay? So I'm gonna make another coil. All right, Hannah, good job. Grab another piece of the clay and roll it out. Roll it out, and I'm gonna show you how to start to build the walls. So a general rule about working with clay is anytime you want to connect one piece of clay to another, you have to use a little bit of water, and you also have to put a little bit of texture like we did with the knife on the two pieces of clay so they weave together. So if you want to just stick a piece of clay onto another, you're going to be very upset because on Thursday it's going to fall off. Okay, you have to do some scoring because the clay has a memory. That means it remembers that it wasn't properly attached. So you want to make sure that you do. Okay, so here's another coil. My coil's almost ready to build the walls. Liam, I've taught you how to do this before, so I want you to tell me what's the next step. Can you unmute yourself?
The next step is to just do whatever Miss Lane tells you to.
No. How do we put the wall on the bottom?
Scratch it and then put water on it.
Okay. Where do we put the coil though?
On the bottom.
Show me. Show us.
1 second.
All right. Parker, have I done this with you before? but it was a long time ago.
I don't know.
You don't know? Jack, you should know how to do this. Okay, yeah. Okay, sounds good. All right, so you take your, Liam's showing you. All right, so you see, this is the bottom, and now we're gonna put the coil along the outside edge. So we're gonna start building up. And you could make, I mean, clay has been around for, is the oldest, the most ancient art form. Well, not entirely. Charcoal, or actually the wax paint that I use, they're very competitive for how ancient they are, but using clay, coil pots go way back in time, way before we were using pottery wheels. People were doing what this is called is hand building. So people would make giant vessels, making coil pots for utility. So for carrying food, maybe on their head, or transporting materials, not for decorative reasons. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna put the wall on. So guess what we're gonna do? Got to do the same thing. Put a little bit of water on the outside edge. And now we're gonna put a little bit of scoring along that outside edge because we want the clay to connect. And now I'm gonna take my coil. You might wanna watch this part, kids. And I'm gonna put it right where I finished last time. And I'm I'm lining it up. Now, every time I put it down, does anybody see that I'm really taking my time? So I did one lap. And now look, I've started, so I would have to keep going, but guess what? I need to score that again until I run it, because I made a very long coil. So look here. I'm now going to score that up. So anytime 2 pieces of clay, you have to score and you have to slip. Okay, here it goes. I'm building up another layer of my little wall. Okay, so you can see here, this is a really tiny little pot. There's only 2 layers of it built up. So you guys could go really high. In fact, your parents would love it if you just did this all day and only took a break for lunch. You could keep going up and up and up and make it taller and taller and taller. So why don't you go ahead and everyone work on your walls of your pot. And then I'm going to show you how to make, maybe talk about making a top for it or adding a handle. And then I'm going to show you another version of making another little tiny pot. Does that sound good? Okay, so keep making your coils and keep building up the walls. Parker, are you doing good?
Yep.
All right, buddy. It's nice to see you. I don't think I've seen you since wintertime.
I don't think so.
All right, keep making your coils and building up the walls of your pot. Okay.
Yep.
All right, sounds good. How's the McKenna crew, Lucy? Okay, good. Hannah, are you doing well? Give me thumbs up, Hannah. Are you good? Ooh, that looks nice. Okay. You can make it taller if you want. Remember to put some clay water down and you have to score it a little bit. I'm going to put a couple more coils on my pot And then I'm going to show you some ideas about how you could add some variation to your little quail pot.
I bet if you roll it here, you'll be looking to want to play for something else.
Try.
Is it supposed to rain today or what? We really could use some rain. Liam, I went over and visited your chickens.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
they're very pretty.
Thanks.
The ones that are already there were very comfortable with people. They like humans.
I have a question.
Okay.
Do you have a pointy nose or a flat nose?
Do I?
Yeah.
I definitely have a pointy nose.
All right.
Wow, I made such a long quail, you can't even see all of it. All right, I'm gonna build up one more wall, and then I'm gonna show you guys how to make a top or how to add a handle. Here I'm putting my texture in. Remember, don't forget to score. All the way around. Otherwise, the clay will want to come apart. Okay, don't forget that you want to start your coil where the other one stopped. So here we are. I'm starting it where I stopped. Do you see how careful I'm being with my hands? I'm taking my time. Uh-oh, I ran out of my scoring business, so you have to keep doing it. I like the noise, it's good.
Okay.
Okay, there's another level on my coil pot. It's getting taller and taller. Now, if your coil pot, is starting to get wobbly, that means like, I don't know, maybe you went too crazy with the water. Jack, is your pot wobbly? Yes, no, is it wobbly or is it pretty good?
I think I did it the wrong way.
How could you have done it the wrong way? Let me see.
I can't take it off my map.
Oh, we got stuck? That's okay. It'll dry out. You could always go in the kitchen and go get a spatula. I think it's okay. Mom or Dad will help you get it off.
If you want me to, I can get you something to scrape it.
That's okay, Jack. You could start another. Okay, let me show you how to make a top. So here's the awesomest thing about clay, is the top is the same as the bottom. So you know how we did this business here? Do the same thing again for the bottom, but this time measure it so it fits the top. So you'd make your coils. I'm gonna try to do this pretty quick because I want to show you how to make a little handle on the top.
Hey, Miss Helene.
Yes, honey.
Could you smile for a second?
Are you making a clay portrait of me?
Yes.
All right.
All right.
You have to get my signature crooked tooth, Liam, because I have straight teeth except for my one crooked tooth.
Right.
See? All right. So I'm gonna.
Too.
What, honey?
I have a crooked tooth too.
You do have a crooked tooth. I have my signature crooked tooth. Okay, So there's my coil. Remember, I'm gonna put a little water on it. I'm gonna squirt it a little bit. I'm gonna roll it up. And this is going to be my top. So you could build your walls up of your pot as tall as you want it to be. Maybe you'll use your whole bag of clay to make a really, really tall pot. So I'm rolling this up.
Make the Tower of Pisa.
You could. Okay. So look, does that look like it's big enough to be the top? Who thinks that's big enough? No. So I got to make another coil and attach that.
No.
What
I think
happened?
so.
Oh dear.
Now you have a flat head.
Now here's the great thing. I gave you a lot of clay today. So you don't have to just make pots. I just want you to get some skills in making different shapes and forms. And a coil pot is like a perfect thing to do. So if you want to make some sculptures, like it sounds like Liam is today, just make sure a couple things is your clay doesn't get too thin. If it feels like, if it's as thin as a piece of paper, it will dry and break. So don't get too skinny with your clay.
I can't really make a mouth, so you're gonna look pretty creepy.
Okay, I'm totally game for that. Okay, so I'm gonna connect my coil to the beginning of the top I made. Remember, I'm scoring it. I can also just do this to score it. Just make a scrape. And I made a really long coil. So when I was, well, not when I was a student, many, many years ago, I don't even remember now, it's been so many years. I think I was touring, I took a group of my students to Maine College of Art to look at the studios there, because some of them were thinking about being an artist when they grew up. And oh my gosh, I totally got distracted and just coiled up, and I did not connect that to the top. Silly me. Look, you could see you could totally unravel it. Who watched me just unravel that thing I just coiled up? Okay, and it's supposed to connect to here. Okay, so my point is, when I was at the college, we went to one of the clay studio, and there was a student there that was making a coil pot that probably a small dog could fit in. Isn't that amazing? So if anyone had like a Chihuahua or a small dog like that, that dog would have fit in the pot. That's kind of nuts, huh? Okay, now look, here is probably big enough for the top. So what I could do is lay that down on the table and take my pot from earlier. Now watch, guys, so you can see if it's big enough or not, and go like this. And if it looks like it's going to cover the outside, then you know that it's big enough. So now probably what I need to do is some shaping. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put something, I'm going to get a piece of paper. And I'm going to put this inside my wet pot. So while it's drying, I don't have to worry about it risking of it falling and caving in. So I'm going to put the little paper in there, and then I can put the top on, and I can kind of shape that. Now I don't want to squish the top on. I want it to just sit on there, but I want it to shape to my pot. So look at my hands. No. And you can make your top of your pot what they call concave. So look at my hand, it's like this, and you'll see my pot has that slight shape. Now, wouldn't it be nice if I had a little handle right here that would pull my lid up? So you could make your handle any way you want, but something that would be nice, since I have this kind of spinny business going on, I could make a little coiled handle there. So watch this. I'm going to make a little one. I'm going to roll out my coil. I'm going to put some water on it. I'm going to score it. And now I'm going to make a little tiny handle. Okay, that's perfect. So you could make this into a handle. Look at that. Isn't that adorable? All right. Now look, you could attach it like this. I could put that there, couldn't I? Or maybe I could put those on the sides of my pot like that, or like this. Or maybe I could make 4 of them and make them into little feet for my pot. I have all kinds of choices about what to do, but for this one, it looks almost like a cupcake, doesn't it? Look at that. I'm not gonna eat it, it's disgusting.
I'm trying to get your frizzy hair.
That's right. All right, so I'm gonna score that there. I'm gonna score that here. Put a little bit of clay water on it. I'm gonna kind of really squish it on. Okay, so there is my pot, and I think it's done. I don't think I want to add any extra handles on it. What I want to do maybe is I could take the bottom and take the little toothpick that I gave you in your envelope, and I could put the year on it. So it's 2020. And I could put my name on it, and then in 20 years, when this is still sitting in the kitchen cabinet, you'll remember that you made it this year, and you can put your name on it. So that's something you could do with the toothpick, is you can draw with it. Okay, so I'm gonna walk you guys through making another way of making little pots, okay? And how's everyone doing before I do that? Hannah, how's yours coming? Is it good? Oh, you have to unmute yourself, honey.
I'm gonna leave mine as a little bowl.
Sounds great. Do you like it? Ooh, it's very, very nice. Very nice. I like it.
You can set it aside.
Awesome. Parker, how about you, bud? Can I see yours? Wow. Parker, yours could hold a giant what? Wow. And you made a top too.
Celine,
Yes, Liam.
so far you look like a mix between that clay stop motion guy that's from Shaun the Sheep, like, the creators of that, and
Yep.
stuff like that lady that has all the snakes in her hair.
Have you guys ever read the book Magic School Bus? Oh my gosh, Liam, that's fabulous. Oh, Cameron, you've done the Magic School Bus? Guess what? Cameron, I've been told I look like Miss Frizzle from the Magic School Bus.
Oh yeah! Here's Miss Frizzle.
I know, right? All right. Well, especially when my hair's a little extra crazy. Okay, so let me show you how, Lucy, how is, what was that, Cameron?
I watched the show Magic School Bus.
Yeah, there's a show and there's books and they do all kinds of cool stuff.
Miss Celine, guess what?
What?
Did you know that there's actually a new Magic School Bus?
No.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, that's cool.
They recreated it, so it's less of the other one, and it's more like today cartoony.
Cool. Cool. It's more contemporary, Liam.
Yeah, it's more cartoony. They basically use the stuff that they had now. I think they made it a couple years ago. It's actually way better than the old one.
All right, I'm just checking in with everyone. Jack, how are you? Are you thumbs up, Jack, or thumbs down? All right, you're good. Okay, Lucy, you guys are all doing okay? All right. How's Cecily? Is she giving you trouble? She's thumbs up. Okay. Let me show you guys another version of making a little vessel. Remember, that's an art word, okay? I'm going to put my little coil pot. I think that's awfully cute. I think that's adorable, don't you think? Okay.
Adorable.
Adorable. Okay, so to make a different version of a pot, I'm just getting myself a piece of clay here. And you don't need to make it that big. So Parker, you're kind of crazy with making big fat clay pieces. Maybe a little less clay this time. Does anybody want to make this pot with me? So take a piece of clay, not too big, that will fit in your hand. Hannah, are you going to make a new version of a pot with me? All right, so I have the amount of clay that will fit in my hand. And I'm going to cramp that into a snowball. I'm going to pack it, a really nice snowball. Rotate it and cup it in your hand and kind of squeeze it. And then I'm going to take it on the table. And you know how we made the coil and we rolled back and forth? Well, this is different. This time we're going to go in a circle. And we're going to make a sphere and make it, look at my hand, it's going around. Versus before we went back and forth to make our coil, this time we're going around. Yes, Parker?
I don't have any more clay.
Did you use all of your clay for that one pot?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, Parker.
Well,
Well,
I did really big coils.
those are some, yeah, Parker, I remember that last winter, all of your sculptures were really big, which is fine. What, is that your top?
Yeah.
Maybe you should sacrifice your top because I think it's not going to survive the drying process. Sacrifice it. Kill it. There we go. Okay. Make it into a snowball. Snowball. Don't pancake it. Snowball it.
Snowball.
Snowball. Make a snowball. Okay. Once you have your snowball, remember you want to pack it, Parker, like this.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. Yep. Keep your hands in a circle.
Okay, Miss Elaine, you want to see the final prod?
Sure. Yeah. Oh my gosh, those teeth are a riot. I like the glasses too, Liam.
The glasses.
Did you
I
put
don't have
glasses?
Oh wait, I forgot to put glasses on.
So this is the cool thing about clay is you guys can make all kinds of different stuff, but I guess they can't be too big, right? So Parker, you could always sacrifice your pinch pot and make a smaller one. Okay, now here's the next step. This is important. Are you ready? You have your snowball and you need your other hand because you need to make a thumb. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to jab my thumb into the middle of the pot, into the middle of the sphere. So I have my sphere like this and I have my thumb ready to go. And I'm going to go like this. Jam it in there so that my thumb disappears to my knuckle. You don't want it to come out the other way. See? I've got a piece of clay on my thumb. And now I'm going to shape it with my hand a little bit. And my thumb is gone. It's stuck inside the clay. Guess what? We're going to go like that. And we're going to pull my thumb out. Now you have the beginning of a little pot. But now what you need to do is get out your lobster hand. Okay? And now what you're going to do is, my clay was getting a little, if your clay is getting kind of cracked, it needs a little bit of water. Okay, so now what I do is take my lobster claw and I'm going to now pinch and rotate my clay. And I'm gonna slowly, what I'm doing is opening up the inside and I'm pinching the walls of the pot. And I'm rotating it so they feel like they're kind of the same thickness all the way around. What was that, Liam?
I need to put some ears on them.
Okay. Okay, so when I'm kind of happy with the thickness of my pot, when I'm pinching it and squeezing it as I'm rotating it, now I can play with shaping a little bit. So I could, I'm gonna put a little water on that, and I'm gonna just kind of, now I could use the knife and watch. Oh, that's great, Liam. And I could put some texture. Texture is, how does the surface feel? I could take my knife and watch. I could make some little kind of like indented stripes in my pot. I could do that kind of thing. I could also really change the shape of my pot. So I could pull it up and I could stretch it out.
Henry, put it down, please.
So it almost looks like, what could this pot be used for? Well, it looks like I want to turn it maybe into a candy dish, right? So maybe I want the opening to get kind of big like this. I can keep shaping it. And now that I can see so much of the inside of the pot, maybe I want to do something interesting with a pot. Maybe I could find something in the house, or I'm in my art studio, that I want to do something that makes a focal point or something interesting. Or maybe I could put a little tiny mouse in the bottom of the pot. Remember that if you attach a piece of clay that you have to score, so I could put a little mouse there with little ears, or I could just think about putting some texture. I could take my toothpick and maybe the bottom of the pot, very gently, I could put these little dots, or maybe I could find something else here in my studio that's kind of cool. I could use the other end of a paintbrush, and I could do this kind of thing. These all make things visually interesting. Okay. And I could keep going. I could shape it, keep shaping it. The only thing you want to think about is if your clay is starting to get thin at the top, but not too thin. So Liam, with your little portrait you made, make sure the clay is really well attached and that none of the clay is too thin, because and as it dries, it can fall apart. And my pot now is starting to look like the shape of a flower. See that? So sometimes you just look at the clay and what does it look like? It's already happening with it, and try to let that inform what you do.
Miss Celine, I made a mouse.
You did? Cute. Cute.
It's a mouse. It's like a computer mouse.
Oh, yeah, it's hard to see, Liam.
Oh.
Okay. So that's another way. So that is called a pinch pot. Okay, that's another variation. And you could put on your pinch pot texture on the bottom or the outside walls of your little pot, or you could keep it simple and maybe you just want to smooth it out. Okay, it's up to you. All right, so that's another variation on making a small little vessel. Does anybody here still have some clay other than Parker? Is there anyone that still has little bits of clay that they could use? Cameron, do you still have quite a bit of clay? You do, Hannah? So you can make lots of little things today, okay, with your clay. You could make, oh, that's cute. Very nice. Did you score and put a little water on your parts before you attach them, Hannah?
Yeah.
Good job.
I learned that in school.
Yes, you should have learned that in school.
I had an art teacher.
You did? What was your art teacher's name?
Miss Fonsby. She was also my library teacher.
You must go to a very small school, do you?
No, it's huge.
No, it's small.
No, it's big.
No, can't say.
No, it's tall.
It's a tall school? Well, when you're in kindergarten or first grade, everything looks really tall. What grade are you in, Hannah?
First grade.
Yeah, that's what I kind of guessed. Okay, so you can take a piece of clay and a little lump can easily become all kinds of things. You just need to make sure like that your clay things are properly attached. Now I'm gonna go get something that's a little bit of inspiration. I'll be right back. Hannah, you wanna show me something?
I turned my pinch pot into a cave for the mouse.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. All right, let me go get something. Okay, so there are many, many, many things you can do with the clay, right? Maybe you want to make something like this. Check this out, Liam. This is a little side of a house. And see the texture we put here? I painted it, and there's little shutters, windows, and now look through the window. Look through the window of the house. Do you see anything, Jack? Now ready? I'm going to turn it. You ready? Do, 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 do. Yeah. Ooh. There's a little
That's a creepy guy.
Look at that. What do you think of that, Liam?
He's creepy.
It is a little creepy. Is your word of the day. Down on the floor are little bits of clay that I made little round spheres, and then I squashed them flat. So it's like little pebbles. And does anybody see the little tiny books I made out of clay?
I see him.
Yeah. Now we're going to turn it the other way so you're looking the other way. So the back of the lady and the window. So that's a clay sculpture that I made that I fired in an oven, and then I painted it with the same paint that I gave you guys yesterday that you did your Van Gogh pictures. So you give lots of options about what to do with your clay today with whatever you have left. Okay, so we are going to finish up class for today, but before we wrap up and I say goodbye, I just want to ask, does anybody have any questions about what we did today? No? Okay. Are you going to, do you have some clay that you can keep on going today and make some more things? Parker, you might have to keep destroying your coil pot, huh?
I just coil pot to make a sword.
Yeah, priorities. You'll have to prioritize. Yes, Liam?
Guess what the actual word of the day is?
No idea.
Fraternize.
Fraternize.
What is it?
Fraternize.
I've never heard of that word.
People as brothers or on fraternal terms, or to associate on close terms with members of a hostile group, especially when something military orders, or be friendly or amble.
Well, it sounds like it would expand your vocabulary. Let's hope you don't have to use that word. Okay, so a couple things. When you're done with your clay today, you do need to let it dry, right? But here's what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to go put this in a hot, sunny spot. Does anybody know why? I don't want the clay to dry really fast, okay? If the clay dries fast, it will crack and break. So put it in a spot that's dry, but it's not going to get super hot and sunny. So you wouldn't want to put it in a garage or a basement because it's already too damp. You want it maybe like in the kitchen on a piece of newspaper, or ideally on top of a little piece of wood, because the wood will help dry out your clay piece. But you don't want to set it in a hot, sunny spot. So what we're going to do is on Friday, hopefully our clay pieces will be dry and we're going to use the paint from yesterday to paint them. Does that sound like a plan? And if not, you can paint them on your own using that paint, because we have 3 more projects in the kit bag that I made you guys. So each day is something sort of different. All right, so we all know about where to set our clay pieces to dry. We know about scoring and slipping. We know that you can make whatever you want out of clay. Oh, this is something else I wanted to show you before I forget and before I sign off. These toothpicks, not only can you draw with them, but you could use them as what they call in art an armature. So say, for example, I'm going to break this in half because the toothpick is kind of big. Let's say I'm making a little guy, okay? And I'm going to make his arm. I made his arm out of a coil. And let's say, like, as I put his arm onto his body, it's kind of floppy. Well, what I could do is I could take the toothpick and put it inside the arm, put it down the middle of the clay and have it attach to the body. Make sure it's covered. And what that does is it gives the little arm some support. So now it's not floppy anymore. So you can use toothpicks as an armature. That's a fancy art word for the support in the clay. And then as it dries too, it's not going to be as fragile. So if you make some little figures or whatever with the clay, then you can use the toothpicks as an armature for giving it some support. Okay, so I hope you guys have a fantastic day. It was a lot of fun to have you. And tomorrow we are going, oh my goodness, Parker.
My
That's
sword.
crazy. Oh my goodness. Parker, just so that will survive drying, you might want to get a stick maybe from outside and jam it on the inside of the sword and make it an armature. Otherwise, the sword's blade is just going to go and break. Okay? All right. So tomorrow we're going to do watercolor painting. Okay? So you can get that stuff kind of ready. And you'll want to get a little water cup and have your paints. And I gave you a lot of paper. Okay? So tomorrow is watercolor painting, and you can have that ready. And I'll see you at 8:45-ish. Okay? All right. Have a fantastic day, and be nice to your family.
I have a question.
Yes, Liam.
After my Miss Helene dries, can I give it to you?
Sure.
Alright.
Okay.
Amazing. No.
All right, you guys. Have a good day.
Miss
See
Helene.
you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. It was my pleasure.
Whee.